6 weeks after the attack, the asteroid belt between Mars and Jupiter became humanity's last hope. Hidden within an excavated rock designated AB-7, the survivors gathered in what they now call the Rhythm of Hope. Admiral Olivia Reeves walked in front of the makeshift command center, her face tired but determined. Since Earth's highest-ranking military officers were still alive, leadership fell to her. "Report," she said to the room of exhausted officers. Captain Gregory Mitchell stepped forward. His uniform was worn and a healed scar ran across his cheek. "Defiance repairs in the U.S. are at 70%. We were able to salvage parts from mining stations." "Any word from Earth?" Olivia asked. "Only limited communications," Communications Officer Eric Jones said. "The Draviks have blockaded the planet, but have not yet attacked major cities. They are calling it protective quarantine." Olivia's jaw clenched. "Protector?" After they killed millions on Mars and Europe. The door opened, and Dr. Alicia Rodriguez entered. His coat was stained with grease. The scientist had been working nonstop since he escaped from Europa, shortly before the attack. "Admiral, I have something," she said, her voice excited despite her exhaustion. "I've been studying the data we've collected on Dravik's biology. Your neural systems have a weakness." "What kind of weakness?" Mitchell asked. "They use a unique form of electrical signaling in their brains, different from humans. I believe we can develop a weapon that disrupts their neural patterns without harming humans." For the first time in weeks, Olivia felt a spark of hope. On the other side of the base, engineer Kevin Lawrence worked with a team on a captured Dravik ship. They were reverse engineering their technology, especially their stealth capabilities. The material absorbs sensor scans rather than reflecting them. Kevin explained to Lieutenant Sam Davidson. "If we can reproduce it, we can hide our remaining ships and bases." Sam nodded, his mind already working on another problem. "I need to get into their systems." The Council is broadcasting messages across channels claiming this was all a misunderstanding. "Misunderstanding?" Kevin spat out the word. "Mars is gone. Europe disappeared." "I know," Sam said calmly. "That's why I need to find the truth." The Council is divided on this. Some races are condemning the attack. In the medical bay, Ambassador Diane Powell finally woke up after weeks in critical condition. General Miller was sitting next to her bed, his arm in a sling. "How bad?" she asked. His voice is just a whisper. Miller's face was grim. "The Earth is surrounded. The Mars colony is destroyed. We have about 20,000 survivors here in the asteroid belt. Some small outposts on Titan and Ganymede managed to hide." Diane closed her eyes, tears streaming down her face. "The advice. They are claiming it was a rogue faction of recruits. They are offering help, protection. Some people on Earth want to accept it." "No," she said, suddenly grabbing his hand with surprising strength. "It's a trap. I saw Zerath's face when the attack began. He knew." In another section of the base, a secure meeting room has been set up. Admiral Reeves gave the order. "Today we implemented the aftershock protocol." She announced to the assembled leaders, Phase 1, gather all the surviving humans we can find. Phase 2, develop technologies to protect us. Phase 3, determine who our true enemies are. And then ask Captain Mitchell. Olivia's eyes were as hard as steel. "Then we decide whether we seek peace or justice." The debate was fierce. Some defended the possibility of friendly council disputes. Others demanded immediate retaliation. Sam Davidson spoke. "Give me 3 weeks. I can infiltrate the council's communications network. Find out who knew what before the attack." Olivia nodded. "It is true that Dr. Rodriguez will continue working on the neural disruptor. Kevin Lawrence's team will develop stealth technology." When the meeting ended, Olivia stood at the observation window, looking at the stars. Somewhere out there, an alliance of alien species decided that humanity was either a threat or a resource to be exploited. They thought we would beg for mercy. She whispered to herself. They don't understand humans. Behind her, humanity's survivors began preparing not just for survival, but for a reckoning that would shake the galaxy. 5 years have passed. What began as a desperate hideout in the asteroid belt has grown into a network of bases across the solar system. Humanity adapted, as it always has. Commander Peter Franklin stood on the bridge of the Revenge, the first of the new Phantom-class ships. Unlike the bulky ships of Earth's past, this craft was sleek, dark, and nearly invisible to sensors, thanks to Kevin Lawrence's advances in traffic technology. All systems ready, The commander told his first officer, Linda Grant. Pedro nodded. Start the operation. Revenge slipped silently toward a transit outpost on Pluto's moon Charon. The aliens established it 2 years ago, thinking humans wouldn't venture that far. They were wrong. Weapons locked, the tactical officer reported. Neural disruptors at full charge. Fire, ordered Peter. Green pulses shot from the ship, hitting the outpost with precision. Inside, the Draviks would collapse as their nervous systems shut down. Dr. Rodriguez's gun works exactly as designed. No alarms went off, Linda said with satisfaction. They never knew we were here. Back at the main base, now codenamed Haven, Admiral Reeves reviewed the latest information with her council. The asteroid has been transformed into a small city with hydroponic farms, industrial facilities, and living quarters carved into the rock. Franklin's mission was successful, she announced. The chair and outpost are neutralized. We acquire your data cores and communication records. Military Director Marcus Kennedy nodded his head in approval. This is the 3rd successful attack this month. The Draviks are getting nervous. A holographic map showed the solar system, with red dots marking the Council's positions and blue ones showing human outposts. The blue dots grew continuously. And the peace delegation? Asked Elizabeth Warren, head of the diplomatic corps. Once a university professor, she now led what was left of human diplomatic efforts. Admiral Reeves pressed a button and a new hologram appeared. An elegant alien with silver skin and large, kind eyes. This is a Trillian emissary of the Althean species, Reeves said. She claims to represent the moderate races of the Council who opposed the attack on Mars and Europe. Can we trust her? Asked Kennedy, his voice hard and suspicious. Lieutenant Sam Davidson, now Chief of Intelligence, spoke. My sources suggest the board is genuinely divided. The Altheans, Vorons, and 9 other races have been pushing for peace negotiations with humanity since the beginning. As the Draviks continued to hunt us, Kennedy said bitterly. Reeves raised his hand for silence. Trillian offered to meet in Ceres under a flag of truce. She claims to have critical information. The debate was heated after 5 years of fighting and hiding. Confidence did not come easily to survivors. Elizabeth Warren stood her ground. We must listen to MS. If there are allies among the Council races, we need them. It could be a trap, Kennedy warned. In the end, Admiral Reeves made the decision. We will find them, but with precautions. Elizabeth will leave the delegation with a Ghost-class ship at the ready. 3 days later, in a sealed dome on the surface of Ceres, Elizabeth Warren met the Trillian emissary. The alien was even more impressive in person, her silver skin reflecting the lights. Thank you for agreeing to this meeting, said Trillian, his translator converting his musical language into English. Many of us have struggled to reach out to humans since the tragedy. Tragedy, Elizabeth's voice was cool. You mean the massacre of millions of innocent people? Trillian lowered his eyes. Yes, a crime that many municipal races condemn. The attack was never approved by the full council. She placed a crystal on the table between them. This contains evidence that half of the race is on. The council opposed the Dravik action and have worked to hold them accountable. Elizabeth didn't touch him. Why come to us now after 5 years? Because we discovered something worse, Trillian said, his wide eyes reflecting fear. Radicals have developed what they call a purge protocol. It's no longer just containment they want. They plan to subjugate or completely eliminate humanity. Elizabeth felt cold. When? Soon, Trillhouse said. But you are no longer alone. Help is coming, if you accept it. The shadow war grew in intensity. With information from Trillian and other races sympathetic to the Council, human forces began attacking only hostile targets, avoiding civilian areas. The neural disruptor became his signature weapon, effective against enemy troops, but leaving structures intact. Admiral Reeves was in the war room, studying attack patterns. The Draviks are moving away from Jupiter's moons, she noted. They are massing their forces around the Earth, said Military Director Kennedy. They are using our home world as a shield. And as a hostage, Elizabeth Warren added. She had returned from 3 more meetings with Trillian. The Council's propaganda tells a different story from reality. They are portraying us as savages who rejected peace. Sam Davidson nodded. Their public broadcasts claim that humans were attacked first, and that they are simply containing a dangerous species. While they build weapons designed specifically to kill us, Kennedy said bitterly. A junior officer rushed into the room. Admiral, The Dominion has been destroyed. Everyone turned. The Dominion was Dravik's flagship, a massive ship that led the original attack on Mars. As Kennedy demanded, pilot Natalie Summers, the officer reported, with excitement in his voice. She flew a single fighter through her defense grid and planted charges in the engine core. Did she manage to get out? Elizabeth asked. The officer's face fell. No, ma'am. She triggered the charges manually when her remote detonator failed. Admiral Reeves lowered her head for a moment. Add her name to the Wall of Heroes. In another part of Haven, Dr. Ryan Blackwood worked in a secure laboratory. His controversial project had support from the military leadership, but faced opposition from many civilians. Subject 27 shows greater muscle density, better reaction time, and oxygen processing at 150% of the human baseline that he dictated into his recorder. The genetic modifications appear stable. His assistant, Dr. Patricia Wells, looked uncomfortable. Ryan, we need to address the ethical issues. We are changing human beings. The Draviks changed the rules when they attacked us. Ryan responded, these volunteers understand the risks. But creating super soldiers, enhanced defenders, Ryan corrected, and they're still human. We are not monsters like the Draviks. Their discussion was intense, interrupted by an alarm. The laboratory automatically sealed itself. What is happening? Patricia asked. Ryan checked his console. Violation in Sector 7. Possible infiltration. On Earth, the situation got worse. Humans who accepted the Council's protection began to disappear from their settlements. The Council claimed they were being relocated for safety, but no one saw them again. In orbit around Neptune, Captain Gregory Mitchell's ship, now renamed Ghost, monitored transmissions from a hidden Dravik facility on Triton. Sir, I have decrypted their communications, your communications officer reported. You need to see this. Mitchell looked at the translated text and felt sick. Bioharvesting. They are using humans as biological resources. It appears they are extracting hormones, genetic material, and neural tissue. The officer said, his voice shaking. Of the humans who disappeared, Mitchell's decision was immediate. Contact Major Sophia Daniels. Your team is closest to Triton. Tell her to infiltrate and gather EVI security, but don't get involved unless necessary. 2 days later, Major Daniels sent images that would haunt all who saw them. Thousands of humans in stasis capsules, being systematically harvested by automated machines. We can't leave them, she said in her broadcast. Request permission to release the installation. Mitchell knew it was dangerous. How many guards? Heavy security. But we've identified their patrol patterns. We can do this, sir. After consultation with Admiral Reeves, permission was granted. Major Daniels led her team of 12 soldiers, some of Dr. Blackwood's augmented volunteers, into the facility. The rescue operation was successful. 2,714 humans were released from harvesting facilities. Major Daniels lost 3 members of her team, but managed to capture vital research data. Back in Haven, as the survivors told their stories, the last voices calling for a peaceful resolution with the hostile council races fell silent. This ends, said Admiral Reeves. Prepare Operation Lazarus. 10 years have passed since the first attack. The Galactic Council, which once spoke as one voice, now openly fractured over what many races called the human question. In a large chamber on a neutral world, representatives of 14 council races formalized their separation from the others. They called themselves Concordat. Ambassador Villanorm of the Altheans stood before the assembly. Today we officially recognize that the attack on humanity was unjust and unauthorized. We withdraw from the ancient council and seek alliance with the human survivors. Representative Dravik hissed in anger, your kind will regret this betrayal. Humans are dangerous and unpredictable. They must be contained. Or perhaps you fear them because they turned out to be stronger than you expected, Villanorm replied calmly. The remaining 13 council races, now self-styled hegemons, left furious. The separation was complete. At the Haven base, Admiral Reeves met with human leadership and Concordat representatives. Holographic displays showed tactical information from across the solar system. Hegemonic forces are gathering for a major attack on Earth, Admiral Reeves explained. We believe this is your last attempt to break human resistance. Elizabeth Warren, now serving as diplomatic liaison to the Concordat, looked worried. What about the civilians still on Earth? Colonel Jason Howard stepped forward. His once dark hair was now streaked with gray. We are preparing for this. Operation Exodus is ready. Howard spent years developing an underground network on Earth, using stealth shuttles and Concordat technology. Their teams secretly evacuated those on Earth, moving them to safe locations beyond the reach of the hegemony. How many can we save? Admiral Reeves asked. With the help of the Concordat, millions, Howard responded. But not all. We need more time. Velanorm's silver skin glowed under the lights. The hegemony is building something in the TAS-CD system. Our intelligence suggests it's some kind of superweapon. Do we know what this does? Asked Military Director Kennedy. They call it the Star Killer, Velanorm said. Furthermore, we have little information. Admiral Reeves has made his decision. Colonel Howard, you have 3 weeks to evacuate as many people as possible from Earth. After that, we implemented Operation Lazarus. Operation Lazarus was humanity's most ambitious plan yet. A coordinated counterattack across 17 star systems, targeting hegemonic military installations. With the support of the Concordat, human forces now have the ships and technology to attack beyond the solar system. On Earth, the city once called New Denver has become the last great human stronghold. Colonel Howard directed evacuation efforts from an underground command center. Buses 7 to 15 are out, his assistant reported. There are another 10,000 free civilians. Howard nodded grimly. The hegemonic ships are positioning themselves. We're running out of time. Above them, the sky filled with traffic warships. The final siege of Earth had begun. In the Concordat meeting room, Elizabeth Warren addressed the foreign representatives. We appreciate your support, but we need to be clear. Humanity will no longer be content with just survival. The aliens looked at each other uneasily. What do? You mean? Warren Deputy asked. Justice. Elizabeth simply said that the architects of the massacres on Mars and Europa must be held accountable. The truth about organic harvesting must be revealed to all species. Velanorm nodded slowly. That's fair, but you should know that the hegemon fears humans for a reason. She activated a holographic display, showing old records. There are predictions, thousands of years old, about the potential of humanity. The hologram showed star maps and calculations with Earth highlighted. These records suggest that humans may eventually surpass all council races in development and skill, Velanorm explained. The attack 10 years ago was not just about resources or territory. It was about preventing their species from reaching its potential. Elizabeth studied the records in surprise. They attacked us because of what we could become. Yes, said Velanorm. And based on how you've survived and adapted, those predictions appear to be correct. The battle for Earth lasted 7 days. Despite Colonel Howard's efforts, millions of humans remained trapped when hegemonic forces unleashed their full power. The city of New Denver became the final battleground, with enhanced human soldiers fighting alongside regular troops. The western sector is lost, a soldier covered in dirt reported. Civilians are trapped in underground shelters. Colonel Howard looked at the tactical display. Red dots representing hegemonic forces surrounded the blue center of human resistance. How many ships do we have left? 3 functional transports. Not enough for everyone still here. Howard made a difficult choice. Evacuate children first, and then medical personnel. And you, sir? Howard checked his gun. I stay until the end. From space, Admiral Reeves watched as Earth, the cradle of humanity, fell to enemy forces. But the victory of the hegemon would be short-lived. All ships report ready. The Admiral told his communications officer. Reeves nodded. Begin Operation Lazarus. In 17 star systems, human ships and Concordats emerged from stealth mode. The counterattack began simultaneously, catching hegemonic forces completely by surprise. The Phantom-class ships, now 100 strong, attacked military bases, shipyards, and command centers. On a small research station orbiting Saturn, Dr. William Carpenter activated his invention for the first time. Quantum strike technology was humanity's best-kept secret, targeting the Dravik command center in the Arcturus system, he said, moving his fingers across the controls. Locked quantum coordinates. The device hummed as the power increased. Then a flash of light. Thousands of light years away, the Dravik command center exploded as space itself seemed to fold and deliver the explosive payload directly within its shields. It works, Dr. Carpenter whispered. We can attack anywhere, instantly. The hegemon, which suddenly found itself under attack on multiple fronts, called for emergency talks. The Supreme Forum, the highest authority among all council races, met for the first time in decades. High Chancellor Zerath, much older now but still leading the Vesperians, addressed the assembled representatives. This war must end before more worlds are destroyed. Humans have proven that they cannot be defeated. They are animals, shouted the Dravic leader. They refuse all offers of peace. Peace demands justice, Velanorm said calmly. Humanity suffered a genocide. They demand responsibility. As the debate intensified, human forces continued their advance. Quantum attack technology has made its attacks unpredictable and unstoppable. With the Concord app providing intelligence and support, hegemony found itself lost. Floor everywhere. On a recaptured human colony world, Lieutenant Kelly Martinez explored an ancient archive that the Dravics had been studying before their defeat. What she discovered shocked her. Admiral, she reported via secure channel. I found records dating back thousands of years. They contained detailed predictions about the development of humanity. What kind of predictions? Reeves asked. According to these calculations, humans are the only species with the potential to achieve what they call transcendence, a state beyond physical limitations. The Dravics didn't just fear our technology or our numbers. They feared that we might evolve into something beyond their understanding. Admiral Reeves considered this information carefully. Is there any indication that this transcendence is actually possible? The math checks out, Martinez said. And there's more. The record showed genetic tampering of early humans by an unknown race, possibly to accelerate our development. This revelation spread quickly among the human leadership. Some saw this as a validation of humanity's potential. Others feared it could make peace even more difficult to achieve. Back at the Supreme Forum, the vote was finally taken. By a narrow margin, the council races agreed to formal peace negotiations with humanity. Representatives of the hegemony reluctantly accepted the decision. We will send our most respected diplomat, High Chancellor Zerath announced. This conflict must end. Admiral Reeves received the message with skepticism. They are only talking about peace because they are losing it. Elizabeth Warren nodded. True, but this is our chance to reshape the galaxy on our terms. Prepare a delegation, Reeves ordered. We will meet them on Proxima Centauri 2. But keep our forces ready. I don't trust them. Proxima Centauri 2 glowed blue-green under its red sun. Once a minor outpost, it now hosted the most important diplomatic meeting in galactic history. The neutral planet was prepared with equal accommodations for all species. Chancellor Victor Harrison led the D-Human election. Once a history professor, he had lost his family on Mars and now served as humanity's chief negotiator. His face showed little emotion as he entered the Grand Council chamber. Chancellor Harrison greeted High Chancellor Zerath with a formal bow. We welcome humanity to these peace talks. Victor did not return the gesture. We are here to discuss terms, not pleasantries. Around the huge circular table sat representatives of all 27 races on the council. The members of the hegemony grouped themselves on one side, the Concordat on the other. Armed guards from all factions lined the walls. We offer significant reparations, Representative Dravic began, presenting a data crystal. Knowledge exchange, development aid, and territorial concessions. Victor didn't touch the crystal. You talk about reparations as if it were a simple border dispute. His forces massacred millions of humans. Your scientists harvested our people for biological material. Murmurs examined the Concordat representatives. Some did not know the full extent of the atrocities. These were unauthorized actions by rogue elements, Dravic insisted, but his voice lacked conviction. Victor's eyes were cold. We recovered the records. Its council voted. 13 races approved the attack on Mars and Europa. 6 abstained. Only 8 were opposed. Silence fell over the chamber. What does humanity want? Zerath finally asked. Peace requires justice. Victor replied, echoing the words that have become humanity's mantra, justice demands accountability. Negotiations continued for days. The hegemon offered increasingly desperate concessions as reports of more human victories came in. With quantum attack technology, human forces have systematically destroyed military targets throughout hegemonic space. On the 5th day, Ambassador Velanorm approached Victor privately. The Concordat proposes the integration of human military leadership into a joint defense for CE. She said, We believe humanity's perspective would strengthen us all. Victor considered this an interesting offer, but trust must be earned. There is something else you should know. Villanor added, his voice lower. Our intelligence has discovered the true purpose of the Star Killer project. She showed him classified images of a huge installation in the Ta City system. It was designed to trigger artificial supernovae, she explained. The hegemon planned to use it against human-occupied systems as a last resort. Victor's face turned pale. How close are you to completion? Very close. Weeks, maybe. Back in the negotiations, Victor said nothing about this revelation. Instead, he focused on establishing accountability for past crimes. Representatives of the hegemony became increasingly uncomfortable as he listed specific atrocities with dates, locations, and officials responsible. You speak as if you hold all the power and finally destroy Dravik's representative. We do, Victor replied simply. Their fleets are in retreat. Their military bases are being destroyed one by one. The only reason we're talking is because we prefer justice to revenge. On a secure channel, Victor contacted Admiral Reeves. The Star Killer installation. Can we neutralize it? Already underway, she replied. Major Daniels personally leads the operation. In the TOF CD system, Major Sophia Daniels led a team of enhanced soldiers toward the massive Star Killer facility. Using stealth technology and intelligence from the Concordat, they bypassed external defenses. Primary target located, she reported. It's even bigger than the skin showed. His team moved efficiently through the facility, placing quantum charges at key points. And, when Dravik security forces discovered them, fighting was intense but brief. The enhanced soldiers moved with blinding speed, their neural disruptors taking down enemies before they could sound the alarms. Defined charges. Daniels reported 15 minutes later. All teams accounted for. Starting extraction. As their ships moved away, the Star Killer facility erupted in a series of precisely timed explosions. The superweapon that could have destroyed multiple star systems has collapsed. At the peace negotiations, Victor received confirmation of the mission's success at the beginning of the day's session. Before we continue, he said calmly, you should know that the Star Killer project has been neutralized. Your last resort is gone. The representatives of the hegemony looked at each other in shock and fear. The balance of power has completely changed. Now they would negotiate on humanity's terms. 15 years have passed since the attack on the Mars colony. The galaxy looked very different now. In the great chamber of the new Galactic Assembly on a reconstructed Earth, representatives of 32 species gathered. The old council structure disappeared, replaced by a system where each species had an equal voice, regardless of their technological level or military power. Admiral Olivia Reeves, her hair now completely white, stood in the center of the podium. She became a living legend, the woman who led humanity from near extinction to galactic leadership. Today marks the 5th anniversary of the Earth Accords. It began 5 years of peace after a decade of war. The gathered representatives nodded respectfully. Some of the former hegemonic races still showed discomfort, but no one dared to speak out against her. When the Dravik homeworld fell 3 years ago, many expected humanity to completely destroy it. Reeves continued, this is what they would have done to us. But we chose a different path. On the rebuilt homeworld of Dravik, aid workers helped restore ecosystems damaged during the final battles. The Dravoks who had surrendered now worked alongside the humans and members of the Concordat, rebuilding under the watchful eye of human peacekeepers. The courts have completed their work, Reeves announced. Those directly responsible for war crimes against humanity have faced justice. With this, we close the formal account of the beginning of the war. In a secure prison on a distant moon, the former Dravik military leadership and the scientists who conducted the human harvesting experiments served life sentences. Justice was swift but fair. Chancellor Victor Harrison, now head of the Galactic Assembly, rose to speak. 15 years ago, the ancient council feared what humanity might become. He said they attacked us because of ancient predictions that we would one day surpass them. In doing so, they created the future they feared. He pointed to the screen showing human Concordat fleets patrolling peaceful trade routes. Human resourcefulness, combined with knowledge from the Concordat, has created technologies that benefit all species. The neural integration techniques that Dr. Rodriguez developed to disrupt Dravik brains now help cure neural diseases across species. Quantum technology, once used for weapons, now allows instant communication and safer travel. Ambassador Villanorm, representing the ancient races of the Concordat, nodded in agreement. The human ability to adapt, to survive against impossible odds, and then to build rather than destroy. This is why the predictions about humanity were correct. In the audience sat war heroes Colonel Jason Howard, who survived the fall of the Earth by hiding with a group of civilians. Dr. William Carpenter, whose quantum attack technology turned the tide. Lieutenant Kelly Martinez, who discovered the ancient predictions, and Major Sophia Daniels, who destroyed the Star Killer facility. They sat among younger humans who had grown up during the war, never knowing Earth as it was before. But the new Earth, rising from the ashes, became something greater, the center of a new galactic civilization. "We remember our dead," Admiral Reeves said, her voice softer. "The millions lost on Mars and Europe. The children who never grew up. The broken families. We carry his memory and his legacy." A moment of silence fell over the chamber. "But we are also anxious," she continued with renewed strength. "Humanity has proven its worth not just in war, but in peace. We didn't want revenge. We wanted justice. And now we build a future worthy of those we lost." When she finished speaking, the chamber erupted in applause. Even former enemies recognized the truth of his words. Later that night, Admiral Reeves stood alone at the memorial wall, where the names of all known human victims were inscribed. She played the section that listed the dead colonies on Mars. "We did it," she whispered to those who couldn't hear. "We survived. We won. And we don't get lost in the process." Beyond the memorial's windows, the lights of a rebuilt city shone against the night sky. In orbit above, ships from dozens of worlds moved peacefully through space. Humanity faced extinction and emerged not just victorious, but transformed. The Galactic Council begged for peace, but humanity would not forgive until justice was served. And now, with complete justice, true peace could finally begin.